All right, good evening, everybody. TGIF, Friday Night YouTube again. So this one's going to be a quick update, some simple topics that are on top of everybody's mind. So let's just check them off. I will start with saying this. This office has an open door policy. You call my assistant, Kathy Spiewak, and you ask to have a conversation with me, and it's going to get done. Um, as long as it fits my schedule, I will talk to anybody, anytime, about any topic they want. I am not about running away and hiding from anything I've said, done, or the direction I've tried to help lead this lodge in defense of our membership. So I don't want anybody to feel like they can't come in here and have a conversation because of their race, their creed, their beliefs, their gender. Doesn't matter. You're all members. You all deserve a fair shake from the president and this lodge, and that's what we're going to give you. Moving on. The contract is obviously in front of everybody's mind every day, all the time. The chorus of echoes about what's going on with the contract, arbitration, retro, all of that, it just grows louder every day. It becomes more repetitive. I get people are frustrated. We're coming up on 4 years. The mayor wants to put publicity stunt comments out like she did in the Sun Times. That's trying to blame this office and me specifically. A contract that has not been, renewed over 3.5 years now. I haven't even been in office 9 months yet. This doesn't fall on the FOP realistically. It's all about the mayor's office. It started with Rahm, who didn't want to do anything, and clearly Mayor Lightfoot made a calculation very early on that she could also, split negotiations between City Hall and Springfield and have the lawmakers down there try and do her dirty work and do the heavy lifting when it comes to the police reforms that they were seeking in contract negotiations. They did a lot of her bidding for her, unfortunately. Thankfully, the governor's yet to sign that bill. The Sun-Times and the Tribune have both called for the governor to veto that bill. Pretty surprising, but encouraging. Does he do it? I hope so. I don't know that he will, but we shall see. Whatever the choice is, I can tell you this. The fight has not ended. It hasn't ended from Lodge 7's end. It hasn't ended from the FOP or the Illinois Law Enforcement Coalition. We are going to continue fighting. The spring session is right around the corner. That is our primary focus, is to unravel a lot of the garbage that is in that bill that should have never been included to begin with. Nothing else really matters. You have to understand that even if you got a $30,000 retro check, if qualified immunity is lifted in the future, that check could be gone in a heartbeat with a lawsuit. Overnight. From an anonymous complaint, some BS person puts a beef on you and then turns into a lawsuit because you can't prove it one way or the other. You could literally lose that retro check overnight. So the stakes have never been higher for our profession in this department than they are right now and fighting this in Springfield. It doesn't mean we're, tabling contract negotiations. There's many topics, I shouldn't say many, there's several topics that have yet to been discussed, whether it was this administration or the previous, some housekeeping type of stuff, not any of the major things. Them have all been discussed almost in nausea to some point. But we're going to try and get onto those while the spring session goes on in Springfield, and we see what we can do about taking a lot of the troubling language and realities that we're facing in law enforcement in this state. It's going to be a fight, but we need help. We're being attacked from all fronts more than ever before, and when that happens, the best thing you can do is to unify and become one body, one voice. And if they see that happening, I assure you they're going to back off to some degree. They really think if they keep pushing the gas and they keep throwing all this crap at us and me, that we're going to fracture, break apart, and crumble. I'm not crumbling. I'm not running away from any fight. I'm not shying away from anything I've said or done or my actions leading this union. I'm going to continue to fight every day, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. They will never break me. Again, but I need assistance. When we ask for help, when we ask for petitions to be filled out, when we ask for information to be shared, phone calls to be made, whether it's to your legislator locally, an alderman, the governor's office, You need to do it. Our careers are on the line here. Law enforcement will be changed overnight if that bill becomes a reality and stays a reality July 1st for everybody. And again, the people that never get considered in this equation are the victims. Some of these provisions for non-arrestable offenses, I mean, it's just beyond head scratching what they think they were doing in the middle of the night last Wednesday. But here we are. The attacks, as I said, are coming from everywhere. They came from the Cook County State's Attorney's Office today. Unfortunately, she decided that she needed a sacrificial lamb to prove a point, to show that Chicago police are the problem, whatever. I don't know what the point was of doing this. It was unnecessary. It was excessive. It was punitive. It was vindictive. It was downright disgusting. There was an officer who's been facing a complaint for some time now, and it was flagged by the Force Review Unit for a possible chokehold, even though the TRRs were filled out properly, approved properly. Nobody thought it was a chokehold. But anyway, that was done. That obviously became a complaint at COPA with a referral to the Cook County State's Attorney's Office for possible criminal charges. The officer with his attorney, the lodge attorney went with, and they were giving a proffered statement. A proffered statement is simply a statement that cannot be used against you in trial. It's informative to the point where you are trying to give the state's attorney enough information and context that they understand it on a much different level, and you avoid criminal prosecution because there isn't any reason to prosecute you criminally. That's exactly what happened in this situation about a week and a half ago. 4 department heads within the Cook County State's Attorney's Office signed off on no criminal charges recommended. Period. Referred it back to COPA for investigation. COPA immediately said the officer should be stripped, fired. His partner should be stripped and fired. The sergeant should now be stripped and fired, and the lieutenant. That's their recommendations. They didn't get their way, so now they're doubling down, tripling down, and just trying to ruin 4 people's careers. Not only that, but they then referred back to the state's attorney an official misconduct complaint against the same officer that the state's attorney's office just said criminal charges should not be filed. But yet here we are, because Kim Fox and her underling are going to try and prove a point. It's disgusting. Shame on them. You want to talk about lifting qualified immunity? You should lift it on the prosecutors and the judges. The judge, the bond judge, gave them a $25,000 bond. They had to come up with $2,500 cash. We have repeat offenders in this city, gun offenders, who are let out on an I-bond and electronic monitoring. They don't have to come up with a single frickin' penny. Our officer, who has 5 children, isn't going anywhere, not a flight risk, not a danger to society. They make them come up with $2,500. That's criminal justice in Cook County right now. That's why being engaged matters. That's why being registered to vote matters. That's why being involved matters. Your votes need to be protecting your job. Law enforcement, CPD, or whoever else watches this in law enforcement in this state. That has to be your first concern over everything else. Social has to come second. What you feel good about has to come second. Protecting this profession needs to be the first choice you make when it comes to being in a voting booth. That's all they understand. The only thing that's going to change this is voting people out of office who have their own best interest at heart, not the welfare of the general public, the victims, or the state as a whole. It's me, my political aspirations, what's going to get me farther in this world. Too many of them wake up every day with that being their goal. They need to go, and we can make that happen if we stick together and keep fighting. We cannot let them separate us. Lastly, I'm just going to tell you there's been a lot of discussion about things I've said, rhetoric, comments, quotes, and there has been some, not much, but some officers who apparently feel unwelcome still. The Vision team and myself personally have made it a mission to change the direction of this lodge, to make my door an open door policy, to make all of our doors open door anytime to our members. This is your lodge. You should never feel like you're not welcome to come and have a discussion with any one of us on any topic at any time, scheduling permitted. We're never too busy for those conversations. I don't care what's been done in the past. I don't care what you think you might know about this lodge. Pick up the phone, schedule a meeting with one of the assistants, and make it happen. And I think you're going to be a little shocked at what you find. We want to make this the most inclusive, diverse group, opinion, unity, coalition, whatever word you want to use. We are a union that is made up of all kinds of walks of life, genders, races, religious beliefs, but we all wear a badge. Well, I don't, thanks to the department, but that's okay. I don't need my badge, which is why I'm not really concerned about all of this nonsense that City Hall is touting, that the county board is touting, that even the police board is touting. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to finish my term and then go from there. But they're never going to break me. They're never going to fold this union. We're going to keep fighting. And with that, have a safe weekend. Thanks for watching. See you next Friday.